Hi, my name is Mike and I want to talk about addiction. The most important things that I want to tell you is that recovery is possible. Talking a little bit about my story, I was kind of that kid that worked hard and partied harder. I did that most of my life. It wasn't until a back injury in 2004 where I was put on pain medication that my addiction really took off. At that point, I used to always say that, in order to be an addict, I had to have money and time. And when I had money, I didn't have the time. And when I had time, I didn't have the money. This back injury left me on disability to the point where I had both time and money, which was a bad combination for me. I was getting prescribed medication. I didn't have anything really to do during the day. I abused that medication. Some of it, I definitely needed it, but I didn't always take it as prescribed. I found a solution for my back pain back in 2008. And when I did that, it was only a matter of time. It was about 3 months before the doctors stopped prescribing me things. My brain's wired a little differently when I talk about a substance use disorder being a disease. So even though I wasn't prescribed the medication, my body and my mind still demanded it. What I ended up doing was turning to the street for cheaper drugs, which left me eventually living in the back of my truck for 2 years in Washington State. Long series of events, and back in March 17th, 2011, St. Patty's Day, believe it or not, I decided enough was enough and went to treatment, and I've been in long-term recovery ever since then. What I struggle with today is the way we put shame and guilt around addiction. We end up trying to hide our family members who are suffering from a substance use disorder. We end up trying to hide the things that are happening to us, when really, if we think about it, almost every family nowadays is affected by addiction in one way or another. So I feel that if the more we can say that recovery is possible, the more that we can get information out there to people and say it's happened to me, or it's happened to my brother, it's happened to my sister, gives hope to those people who are still trying to figure out that recovery is possible. All too often we hear about people when they're in the news, getting arrested by stealing things, trying to get more money for their substance, just all kinds of bad things. But when people get into recovery, they tend to join an anonymous fellowship, and then nobody hears about the good things that we do. So as much notoriety as we give the disease of addiction on the bad side, we also need to give recovery that same notoriety.